Hey there, YouTubies. Welcome back to another October spooky vlog. Mwahahaha. Okay, so today I want to tell you about the experience I had last night, the Carrie the musical experience. If you saw my vlog from late last night, which maybe not many of you have because it was uploaded accidentally after 1 a.m., but it was supposed to be before 12 a.m. So technically, it's still Wednesday, even though I already had a Wednesday video, so it didn't really matter. But still, so last night, I saw this musical called Carrie the Musical. Maybe you know about it. It's been around for 25-ish, almost 30 years now. It was actually on Broadway. It used to be very hokey and campy, but 3 years ago, the writers reworked it, and they updated it, and it's actually, well, we'll get to it. So, what I'm going to say here is, okay, for starters, you have to go see the show. If you haven't seen the show and you live in LA, shame on you. But not really shame on you because it only opened like 3 days ago or something like that. But if you're in the LA area, I encourage you check out this show, especially if number one, you want to celebrate October and scariness and creepiness, etc. Number two, if you want a full total theater experience with lights, sound, spectacle, singing, music, story, and if you want to feel mood. So go check it out. You can get cheap tickets. Check Gold Star. That's where I got my tickets. The actual title of this production is called Carrie the Killer Musical Experience. Check it out. I'll put a link in the description for its website. So check there. So this is my first official October review because I said before in a vlog, I think last week, that I wanted to do some reviews of horror movies, but I'm going to throw this month, but I'm going to throw this into that category because it's, if you know the story of Carrie, it's pretty obvious why. So just to let you know, I'm going to spoiler the crap out of this. However, I will say before you click ahead, I will say that what I am going to say is very, very cool. If you're not going to see this production ever, there are talks of it going on tour around the world and or to New York. I think that's their goal. Who knows if they'll get there, because it's kind of up to if the show keeps doing well. So my point is, if you're not going to see this show, this specific production, listen to what I'm going to say, because it's awesome. Because it's an awesome, awesome experience, and really cool spectacle things, and different things that they did in the show. So, now I'm going to spoilers. Pretty much a lot of it, a lot of the cool things. So, to start with, some really cool things about the show. Number one, the first thing that you'll know if you see the show, the spectacle is amazing. This musical had a very big budget. You can tell. And I mean, they really went the whole 9 yards. So let's picture, if I can show the stage for you for a second. Okay, hold on. So let's say, so we all know what a proscenium stage is, right? Huh, if you don't, let me show you. So proscenium is, let's say, here is proscenium stage. So let's say this is the stage, okay? So here's the proscenium arch. It's hard to see. So right here it goes up, and then audience is down here, and it goes all the way back and up and up. Okay, so that's like where the stage is, you know, off stage, right, left, off stage, right, you know, backstage, blah 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 blah. This is like the fourth wall. Okay, so this is the proscenium stage. So if it's like this, it was in the Los Angeles theater. If you haven't been there, go sometime. It's beautiful, it's huge, it's amazing. So this is what they had right before the stage. They had a little, what my brother and I call a pit. It was in the round, but it was like a pit round, and it was only 3 sides. It's like a pit round thrust thing. So picture, if you will. Here's the proscenium, okay, and right below it, same level as the stage itself, there's a little area that they set up with a platform, and this is where like all the action took place. And there was like a catwalk up here before the stage. So think about, here's the stage, in front of it there was like a catwalk and backstage, and then below that was like a little pit area. You with me so far? Okay, and there was audience on 3 sides. 1, 2, oh this is awkward, and 3. So audience was sitting there, okay, and then they also had some audiences here that we'll get to in a second, okay? Here's like where the pit, where the not pit, but you know what I'm saying. This is the stage where the action took place, and these 4 corners are were extra additional seating, and it was all done in bleachers. It looked like you were in the gym of the school because it's Carrie. They're in high school, right? Okay, so you're sitting down in the bleachers, and it's very, and they set this up on top of where you normally sit in this theater. Like this was just all set up on top of like the normal chairs. So like they built little platforms so you could walk on, and so you were literally sitting 20 feet above where you would normally sit to see a show here, because the stage isn't on the normal stage, it's in front of the normal stage. Make sense? Okay, moving on. So this whole thing that it was encased in, it had designs on the front, it looked like you were walking into the gym, and it was just a really cool atmosphere. They had sounds playing and whispers to make it sound creepy, and the lighting was amazing, and you look up and you see all of the millions of lighting that they had. Holy crap, like it was huge. There was so many lighting and light cues that they would even use one time and then it was done. My God, a ton of effort was put into the show with the spectacle. What was really cool about it was their use of the spectacle, because it's Carrie, telekinesis powers. She would reach for something and all of a sudden, ooh, oh, it's floating in midair, and she would catch it and then she would take it off stage. How'd they do that? I don't know. Unfortunately, I didn't stick around after the show to talk to any of the guests to figure out how they actually did it. But it was awesome. And people would go flying and things, and it was super, super cool. Their use of spectacle. These seats that I said, these seats in the four corners here, on the actual stage, those would move. So people would push them, and they would focus in closer to the action, or actors would come up behind them and move them around. It was just really, really cool. It was a really good way to help you feel like you were there in the world, which was awesome. That was the good side of it, and that's what I want to talk up. But there were also some things that were kind of, or didn't quite live up to par. So for those things, I'm going to let my friend Nasty Ned tell you about all of the downsides to this production. Okay, Nigma, so that's good and everything, but let's talk about the spectacle for a second. Can we, shall we please? Okay, so the spectacle, yes. Let me use your wonderful, wonderful drawing that you drew here of this diagram. So if you see, we have these chairs that moved he talked about. Okay, well, these chairs, now, they would move by themselves, but my question is, why? Why did the seats move around? You follow me? Why did the lights change at a certain time? Why did somebody go up to the catwalk that they had above head and start singing a song when there was no really need to do that? In fact, it was actually kind of distracting from the action that was going on downstage, and it was really hard to kind of differentiate the two. Not only that, but the seats that he sat in, him and his brother, they sat over here, down along this end. And now that end of the stage, that end of the audience seating, was very, very poor viewing. Now I understand those are probably, not the most highly priced tickets that you can buy to see the show. We all know how much of a cheapskate he is. But that being said, sometimes they would focus the action. They would focus the action by moving the seats right around here, as if, look, people, you can look right here. But none of us up here could see what the dang was going on. None of us. So that was also kind of bad. And sometimes they would just move the seats, and it wouldn't. I don't understand why were the seats moving? Why? I understand that you like the spectacle. I understand that you like the lights. I understand that you want to see things on the walls and things like that they projected. But if it doesn't make sense, then if it doesn't have why, then there's no point to doing it at all. Okay, I get that. There needs to be a reason to it, but sometimes there was a reason to it, like these seats moving around, like the bleachers that would move. Sometimes Carrie would walk through and she would go woof, and the seats would go woof, right with her to make it seem as if she was moving the audience with her hands. And I get if you're sitting in those seats, that would make it an amazing experience because it feels like she's actually moving you. And that I can understand. Does it have anything to do with the story? Does it have anything to do with the characters? No, aside from showing off that she can do telekinesis and things like that. But if you're sitting in those seats, it helps give you that immersion. And of course, that's one of my not only favorite words, but especially for spooky, scary, creepy things, that's probably the most important and best word to use when you think about creepy and thriller and a thriller with a lowercase t, a thrilling experience, that definitely helps in that regard, and I'm definitely for it in that sense. But what were they supposed to be doing the rest of the time then? If she was supposed to be telekinesising, why were the chairs moving when there wasn't any telekinesising going on? And that's my point. That's my point. What were the purpose of them moving besides looking cool? And things that are moving and just looking cool and have no other purpose don't belong, because it's just showing off how much money I have. And the next point that I want to touch on here is, let's see. Oh yes, of course, the acting. So, there were about 4 very, very good actors in this show. I will admit, there were some really good people there, and I didn't know really what to expect as we were going along, but some of them were really good. Now for the rest of them, well, they weren't bad. I don't hate these people. I didn't want to run out of the theater screaming because I was so mad, because I didn't get so mad. However, there were some moments that were missed, and that's probably my biggest complaint, is that there were some moments when someone would do something and the other person just wouldn't react at all. Or the other character would react in a way that didn't make sense. They'd say, "Hey, I'm getting a new car." And the other character would say, "Yeah." That's your reaction? You wouldn't give a high five? You wouldn't hug? You wouldn't say, "Suck it, I hate you, I want a car instead"? No. You just say, "Yeah." Smile and stare. I don't get it. There was also a moment when the main antagonist girl of the show she grabbed the crotch of her main antagonist boyfriend because she was singing a song and she was singing about how down and dirty she is. So she grabbed his crotch. Okay, great. What did the guy do? And scene. You just gonna stand there as your crotch is being roped? I would assume you would react one of 2 ways. One of which, whoa, nasty, get that away. Stop it, which is how I would react. Or number 2, you would enjoy it and grab her and squeeze her and you know, take her to the ice cream parlor or something. That's what the kids do. Run around late at night eating ice cream. One of those 2 things would have been fine. But no. It's just a simple and scene. Really? And it was moments like that. That just didn't make sense. Or at times, what I think is the protagonist, of course, they're trying to make her the protagonist, the character of Sue Snell, if you know the story, if you know the movie. They kind of made her the main character, and she would at times have a spotlight on her, and then she'd be interrogated by, of course, the police. That's what made sense, because, you know, the police find her in the story, and when all is said and done, with a couple dead people and blood everywhere, and so, of course, they're going to take her in and ask her questions, as they should, doing their job, fine, upstanding gentlemen that they are. And there would be times when the show even opened with, some crazy stuff at first, which was kind of cool. Again, some of it didn't make sense, but then after that, this prologue that they added thing, then they had the actual script start taking place, which is opening with a spotlight on her, police asking her questions of blah, 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 Carrie White, blah, 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 blah. And what would happen is there'd be a loud zoom sound that would happen as the spotlight would come on. Yeah? And then she would be looking straight out, you know, in the direction of the spotlight of the cops and answering questions. But sometimes it wouldn't go zoom and start making the spotlight. Later on, she would just start talking. And you know, but then sometimes she'd go back to the zoom and the spotlight and start talking as well. She started talking to the audience instead of the spotlight. And, you know, it would have been fine if there would have been a transition to show, okay, she's no longer talking to the cops, she's talking to the audience, but it just went back and forth, didn't make sense, the world wasn't cohesive at all, and it was just missing moments like that. It was just missing the moments when when scratch your head. Wonder when you spend your time and money on such a piece of... Okay, whoa, hold on. Okay, so now number one, the actors. The actors themselves were not bad. I don't honestly believe that they were bad. I think they had little to no direction on their acting, which is something that always brings me down when I see a show, because that's the first and foremost thing that I focus on. Granted, some of the other things when I direct a show maybe kind of fall away, and that's something that I've been working on trying to strengthen. However, I feel like if the acting is not there, the world is completely unbelievable, no matter what else you do, and I 100% believe that. And I don't believe that the actors are bad. They obviously had great instincts and great, you know, you could see the times that they were directed to do something, at times that they weren't directed to do something, and some of the times that they weren't directed to do something, sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't, and you could tell that they're just trying to make a choice by themselves, and they really didn't get any feedback about this choice. And unfortunately, that's honestly how I feel about it. Now, I will say that the staging, the blocking, rather, of the show and the choreography and the movement was beautiful. Visually, aesthetically, in every way, shape, and form, it was a very, very, very beautiful show, and it was great to see. It was great to look at, but it was the little moments in between, I guess, and I feel like it's because it wasn't the fault of the actors. It was the fault of they weren't given direction in those moments, or weren't given feedback, or enough feedback, something like that. So that's honestly what I believe. As far as having a full cohesive world and things tied into, yeah, some things were overlooked. It would have been nice to see some other things, some moments come back to kind of tie in some other conventions that they had been setting up. And most of the time they did that. Sometimes they didn't. I personally feel like this show was directed by either someone who's first and foremost a choreographer and secondarily or tertiarily a director, or it was directed by someone who is a film director or cinematographer. And so that's why all of those things make me think that's why visually it was amazing. But believably and, you know, character-wise, some things were missed. Some things were missed out on, and unfortunately, that's the truth of it. Well, now, do you have any other nasty things to say before we close out to the YouTubies? No, I think that about covers all of my notes. So, yeah, I think it was a very bad time, and I'm glad that I could speak about it here to hopefully make some people cry, to hopefully make them do a better job next time. No, stop. Okay, thank you for coming to Ned. Bye. See you later. See, I tell you, he's nasty. No, I don't want to make anybody cry. I don't want to make anybody think they did a bad job. I enjoyed the show. I would go see it again. I would. I don't know if I'll have the time this October because I'm pretty busy, but I would see it again. I had a great time. I want to sit down in those seats on the floor that move around to see how that experience is. I feel like it'd be a little bit better. Okay, to wrap this up, the results. I think that this show was a very great experience. I'm glad that I went. I have seen a heck of a lot worse than this show. I think there were moments when it could be a little better. I'll say this, I don't know if I think it was Broadway quality, but I think it was very, very, very close. I think they only missed a few things. And once they can tweak and tune up these few things a little bit, I think that they're going to have a fantastic experience on their hands. They already do. It's already a great experience. But if they just tweak it a little bit more, again, there were just some moments that were missed out on, unfortunately, with acting and character, etc. And I think if they can tighten those up a little bit, I think that honestly their show will be very, very good. So this show, I think I'll rate it a 7 out of 10. Borderline 8 out of 10. So let's say 7.5. 7.5 out of 10. I believe that all of you watching, if you are in the LA area, should go see this show. I think there is a great number of reasons to. It's a very great experience if you want to have a great time in the theater and really feel like you're in another world. For the most part, I definitely recommend this. Like I said, even if you can afford it, pay that extra couple dollars to sit down in those floor seats. I didn't know they were going to be special when I went. Otherwise, I may have chosen that option. But those floor seats, again, not to spoil anything, are, except for those of you that I just spoiled everything for. Holy crap! Holy crap! But those of you who clicked forward, not to spoil anything, I'm not going to spoil stuff. I'll just say, see if you can sit on the closest seats possible. That will give you the best experience. And I think I want to try it. I haven't tried it yet, but it would be very, very cool. Go check out Carrie, the Killer musical experience, playing at the Los Angeles Theater right now for the next few weeks. I'm not sure of the exact dates, but again, I'll put a website down below for you to check it out. Oh, last thing I was going to say is my personal story with the show, why I was going to go. The only really complaint I had is they didn't have the song anymore called Don't Waste the Moon. If you don't know what the song is, again, that'll be the first link down below in the description. Click on that. You have to see what I'm talking about. That I sang this song in a show called Broadway Jukebox freshman year of college years ago, and me and the people in the show, and it was an awesome time. And honestly, I saw that I just randomly happened to see that this show was being performed in Los Angeles, and I had known about it for all these years. But I really just wanted to see it, just to see this song performed live in a production that I had nothing to do with. And because it's very cheesy, it's very hokey, and that's how the musical used to be. But since a couple years ago when they reworked it, it's no longer like that. It's more serious, a more serious tone. But I wanted to see it just to see this song performed live. Honestly, that's really the only reason, just to say that I saw this terribly hokey and ridiculously laughable musical live. But that's not what it was. So yes, I am greatly disappointed that I did not get to see that song. However, I'm greatly gratified, greatly grateful that I did get to see this experience, because it was a different kind of experience. It wasn't hokey, it wasn't laughable, and it was very, very cool and fun. So bittersweet there. But that's my backstory with this musical. So again, go see it if you can, if you have the time. If not, make time to see it. It's actually really cool, and I hope it goes far. So that's all the time I have now. A little bit longer of a vlog, but thanks for sticking around, YouTubies. And again, as always, thank you very, very, very much for watching and for tuning in every day for a different video every day, especially for our Halloween, fall, scary, October festival 2015. I always get those words mixed up in the wrong order. But thanks again, everybody, and I will see you when I see you. Have a wonderful, spooky day. Love, 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 love. And I'll see you in the next spoopy video. Bye-bye. You definitely need to exercise more with it. Oh! There's the baby! No, no, no! Oh, the baby! Leave me alone, baby. Oh, jeez! Oh, that scared me.